Batman is having difficulty.
It's the secret.
Hi guys!
Today we are going to learn about the letter Z.
So today we decided that we were going to do my most embarrassing story. Yeah, so we're both going to share 2 embarrassing stories. Just going to start right into it. Let's get into it. Is when I was like 10 or 12, somewhere in that range of age group, was in a farting contest with like a bunch of guys. We didn't necessarily have to fart, maybe at that moment, but I made myself fart so bad that I shit in my pants. Like,
oh my gosh, really?
Yeah.
What'd you do with it?
I took my underwear off and I just like rolled them in a toilet paper wad and kind of just threw them in the trash can.
Okay, well,
So yeah, yay!
I don't think mine's as bad. One time, and I was going to be a freshman in high school, and I took summer gym. Of course, it was pretty much all boys, attractive, sportsy boys. We had to do a test that we had to do how many sit-ups we could do whenever in a minute.
Was that the physical fitness test?
It kind of like that. It's the contraction of the muscles in the stomach from going up and down.
You farted! Did you fart?
I did fart. But this very, very attractive guy was my partner. And I was a high schooler by then, so kind of ruined my rep for the year. So, and just like 5, 6, and there went my life. So, yeah, I farted on a young gentleman's shoes. So,
Yay. Relationship embarrassment. So I have one. My first relationship, we decided, you know, back on our track phones when they're like this long and like we weren't even texting, we were like calling, but we could have just called on the house phone. I don't know. I was like, do you want to go to the movies with me? Like we can go watch. I don't even know what we were watching. But it was so embarrassing because I had to bring my little brother with me. It was like, yeah, we're just going together, me and my little brother. Like, you guys go watch this and we'll go watch this. So we get there and my parents, well, my dad, because my mom was just, didn't care. But my dad was just like, I know what you're doing. Like, I know that you're meeting a guy. I was meeting a guy. So he was already sat down in the movie theater. Like, I had to meet him. And I had my little brother with me, right? I had to bring him with me, sit down beside this guy, and then all of a sudden I sit down, parents walk in, and I'm like, oh my gosh. Like they're not gonna go watch their own cinema movie, they're gonna go sit in mine. So they sit right behind me, and the guy that I like went to go with didn't know that they were my parents, so he's like still like trying to flirt with me and like rub my leg and like like no don't. Yeah, I was like no. So I was like eh. And then as soon as the movie ends, we're walking out, my dad makes a point to be right behind us, and he's like, don't talk to my daughter again. I'm calling your dad tomorrow and letting him know that you're talking to a younger girl. And we were like 2 years apart. He was like a junior and I was in 8th grade. And it was some huge thing in front of everyone. So humiliating because I wanted the relationship to keep going. You know what I mean? But he was like, no. Like, no. That was so bad. Yeah. So yeah, that was embarrassing. I'm sorry if you're watching this because you know what I'm talking about.
I went to a movie with a little bit of an older guy, you know, and I introduced him to my mother as a friend. And then we went to the movies with my brother, and then we dropped him off afterwards. And we went to a park, and he pulled his wiener out. He pulled his wiener out, and I was like, oh dear lordy, I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
But and then this, because we live in a really ghetto town.
Yeah.
This gang walked up. They were called the Deuce Crew, and they're like, yo, what you doing? I heard you was blah, 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 blah. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm like 12 years old. Please don't shoot me. And he like had his hand underneath the seat, like, oh, you got a gun under? He's like, maybe, but he didn't have anything. He's like, oh, maybe I got a gun under here. What'd you do? I'm like, oh, please just take me home. And they're like, oh, hey, sweetie, how you doing? I'm like,
take me home.
And there's like 12 people in this gang. Please, Lord, baby Jesus, just please.
6 pound 8 months, baby Jesus.
He's like, I think I'm just gonna take you home now. I'm like, oh, thank God. I know, I'm so glad that I'm alive to this day. So.
Yeah. The Juices crew. Hi, shout out. I don't know who you are. So those were our embarrassing, like, high school relationship stories, and you are so very welcome for hearing them, and hopefully you can relate to some of them.
Like, don't worry, we're out there, we feel ya.
Yeah, but yeah, hopefully you can relate to that and you like this video, and maybe, you know, maybe we can be friends through our awkwardness. You never know. Anyways, so we'll see you
What's
next.
that me and Becca met?
Awkwardness, yeah. Anyways, that's all. Alright, see you guys, bye. I thought that they just grew hair up the shaft.
Right?
Yeah. So I was like, oh my gosh, he's a really good shaver. Like, I was like,